Caitlin Clark showing up at Grove 22 wasn't just a photo op. It was a signal. When Michael Jordan, someone who famously keeps his inner circle microscopic, invites you into his world, it means something. This wasn't a public event or brand-backed media play. It was Clark stepping into a space few even know exists, let alone enter. Jordan's guest list is short and elite, and Clark just got added. It's not about swinging clubs. It's about being seen as a peer by someone who redefined basketball's global identity. For Clark, whose career has already shattered collegiate records and drawn national attention, this is something else entirely. Entrance into a realm usually reserved for legends. Folder not found. Create new folder. Michael Jordan speaking. What makes this moment so significant isn't just the exclusivity of Grove 22.
If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe.
It's what that invite implies. Clark is no longer simply a rising WNBA star. She's being positioned as a transformative cultural figure. When Jordan chooses to associate privately, it signals belief in your trajectory, your influence, your potential to carry more than just stats. For Clark, that recognition reflects a future where mentorship, brand expansion, and legacy building aren't just possible, they're expected. This encounter reframes her role in the sport and hints at a broader impact on women's basketball as a whole, legitimized, spotlighted, and finally sitting at the biggest tables in sports. You know it's serious when Michael Jordan steps into the picture, literally. The internet practically froze when photos surfaced of Caitlin Clark, the breakout WNBA star, casually playing a round of golf with Michael Jordan at Grove 22, his ultra-private golf club. This wasn't a fan event. This wasn't a brand activation. This was Jordan's turf, his personal golf sanctuary. And Clark was there. Let's be clear. Jordan does not hand out invitations like party flyers. Grove 22 isn't even open to the public. It's not a celebrity hotspot or a networking hub. It's where Jordan goes to disconnect, to talk shop with people he respects, and occasionally to pass the torch. So when Caitlin Clark shows up in that setting, it's not just a photo op. It's a signal. A massive, glowing, neon-bright signal. This was more than golf. Anyone who knows Jordan knows that when he meets with rising stars, it's not about small talk. It's business, legacy, strategy, and the fact that Clark got that call-up, that says everything. Clark isn't just having a moment. She's entering the stratosphere. She's gone from college sensation to WNBA headline maker to now, someone who garners a personal attention of one of the most exclusive and influential figures in the history of sports. Jordan doesn't attach himself to hype. He associates with people who shift culture. And Clark is now in that conversation. Let's break down what this means. Jordan is famously selective. He doesn't show up courtside for every trending athlete. He doesn't host casual outings with rookies unless there's something deeper going on. Clark being at Grove 22 means she's already crossed an invisible threshold, a level where legends stop watching from a distance and start getting involved. This isn't just a compliment. It's an endorsement, one that carries a weight most athletes will never receive in their entire careers. Think about the context here. Clark's journey hasn't been soft. She's dealt with nonstop media attention, physical expectations, and a relentless spotlight from the moment she stepped into college basketball. The comparisons, the scrutiny, the pressure, it's all been constant. And she's handled it, not just with skill, but with a poise that makes her stand out far beyond the box score. That's exactly the kind of trajectory Jordan respects. Because, frankly, it mirrors his own. Jordan knows what it's like to be the focus of the sports world before you've even had a chance to breathe. He understands the toll of carrying a league, and he recognizes what it takes to do it without losing your edge. If anyone could offer Clark guidance on navigating a career that's becoming bigger than basketball, it's him. And let's talk about Jordan Brand. Because yes, this meeting wasn't about golf, but you better believe branding is on the table. Jordan didn't just change the game with his playing career. He redefined what it means to be a sports icon. His brand is still dominating decades later. So if he's talking to Clark, that opens a door. A very lucrative, legacy-building, culture-shifting door. There's real potential here for mentorship, collaboration, even a signature line down the road. And not just some generic cosign. A real partnership built on shared values, longevity, and cultural impact. That kind of opportunity can shape the next decade of her career, on and off the court. And that's the part that makes this so much more than just a flex. Jordan doesn't need to attach himself to Clark. He chose to. And that choice is symbolic on a level we can't ignore. Women's basketball has been fighting for mainstream respect for years. The WNBA continues to break barriers, but high-profile endorsements like this, they're rare. When Michael Jordan takes a personal interest in someone from the women's game, it tells the world this isn't niche. This is the future. This isn't about boosting Clark's image. It's about elevating the league. It's a signal to sponsors, networks, and fans that women's basketball deserves the spotlight, and not in a token way, in a fully legitimate, culturally relevant way. The private nature of the meeting just amplifies that. This wasn't some orchestrated publicity stunt. There was no press release, no PR team live streaming the handshake. That's what makes it powerful, because real recognition doesn't need a caption. Jordan saw something in Clark worth investing his time and energy into. He brought her into his world on his terms. That authenticity gives this moment weight. It shows that Clark's talent and presence speak for themselves, and that the legends of the game are taking notice without being asked. Let's not overlook the impact this could have on Clark's confidence, either. Because yes, she's already built tough. But getting personal validation from someone who is the blueprint, that changes your mindset. It's an unspoken green light to dream bigger, think broader, and take the kinds of risks that redefine careers. She's already breaking scoring records. But now, she's building a brand, a narrative, and a legacy. One that's no longer just about being the best in the WNBA, but about reshaping what success looks like for women in sports. Period. And this could be just the beginning. With Jordan's influence, Clark could be setting herself up for a long-term trajectory that includes entrepreneurship, media ventures, philanthropic work, and global reach, all of which Jordan has done flawlessly. But make no mistake, this isn't a passing moment. This is a pivot point. From this point forward, Clark will be viewed through a new lens, not just as a WNBA star, but as someone with the potential to become a cultural icon, someone with influence, someone capable of shifting the conversation around women's sports, branding, and power. And for the WNBA, this is a win with ripple effects. Jordan's interest lends credibility. It draws attention. It creates opportunities for the league to be taken more seriously by sponsors, media platforms, and fans who've been sitting on the sidelines. It also serves as inspiration for other players, because now they know that the ceiling is higher than it's ever been. That, yes, women's basketball can be lucrative. That, yes, it's possible to build a legacy that goes beyond the court. And the most remarkable part? Clark didn't campaign for this. She didn't beg for recognition. She showed up, did the work, delivered on the hype, and the recognition came to her. That's what makes this so powerful. It's not just about her skill. It's about her impact. And now, with Jordan stepping into the picture, that impact is on a whole new level. So what's next? That's the question on everyone's mind. Will there be a mentorship? A Jordan brand deal? A long-term partnership? We don't know yet. But what we do know is this. Caitlin Clark is officially on a different playing field now. This golf game wasn't just a casual outing. It was a statement. A private moment that carries massive public implications. And it's one that could shape the future. Not just for Clark, but for the sport as a whole. Because when Michael Jordan picks up the phone and says, "Let's talk," you're not just part of the conversation. You are the conversation. If you're as stunned as we are, let us know what you think about this wild crossover. Is this the start of a Jordan x Clark collaboration? What could this mean for the WNBA's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button. Share this with your basketball crew. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next game-changing moment. All right, let's stay in this moment a little longer, because this isn't something you just scroll past. The sheer symbolism of Caitlin Clark walking the green with Michael Jordan, it's not just about what happened. It's about what it means. That image, her and Jordan, casually sharing space, it's going to live rent-free in sports history. Because moments like these don't just go viral. They ripple. They reshape narratives. They light Think about what it takes to get on Michael Jordan's radar in the first place. Not just as an athlete, but as someone he respects. We're talking about a man who spent decades guarding his brand and his presence like Fort Knox. He's not at every draft. He doesn't pop into every trending sports story. He moves when it matters. And for him, this clearly mattered. Caitlin Clark, less than a full season into her WNBA career, has already done the impossible. Earned not just Jordan's attention, but his time. And not in some performative, red carpet way. In the realest way possible. In his world, at his club, on his terms. Now that doesn't just speak to her popularity. It speaks to her power. The sports world moves fast. And usually, attention spans are even faster. But Clark has held the spotlight from college all the way through her first professional months. And this moment confirms that her star isn't just rising, it's solidified. She's not just a hot name right now. She's the blueprint being drafted in real. And here's the thing that makes this meeting even more significant. Jordan's legacy isn't just built on game-winning shots and championship rings. It's built on vision. He's always known when to bet big. On himself, on branding, on culture. When he launched the Jordan brand, it wasn't just about sneakers. It was about an empire, a lifestyle, a standard. So when you spend an afternoon with Caitlin Clark, that's not just two athletes bonding over birdies and bogeys. That's a transfer of energy, a nod that says, "You're next." It's hard to overstate how rare this is. The WNBA, despite its undeniable talent and growing audience, hasn't historically gotten this kind of mainstream, heavyweight cosign. And yes, there have been iconic moments and powerful endorsements, but this is on another level. This is Michael not speaking at a conference, not doing a Nike campaign, but privately, deliberately, spending time with Clark in a setting that's sacred to him, that says more than any press release ever could. And while the photos of their rounds online, the real magic is in what we didn't see, what was said, what was discussed, what kind of ideas were exchanged behind those gates. Was it mentorship, strategy, future branding, a long-term vision? All possibilities and all deeply intriguing. Because here's what we do know. Jordan doesn't waste moves. Every step is calculated. Every conversation means something. If he sees potential in Clark beyond just her jump shot, it's because he recognizes that she's not just breaking records. She's rewriting them. She's not just playing the game. She's changing it. And that change is desperately needed. Women's sports have spent decades fighting for airtime, sponsorships, and basic recognition. Even now, the conversation around equal pay, marketing investment, and media coverage is ongoing. But when someone of Jordan's stature acknowledges a player like Clark on this level, it throws gasoline on the fire in the best way possible. It shows corporate America that women's sports aren't a side dish. They're the main course. It reminds fans that greatness doesn't have a gender. And it tells every young girl watching that, yes, you can be the center of the sports universe and get invited to the table with the kings who built it. Because let's be honest, Clark isn't just carrying her own name. She's carrying the weight of what she represents. Excellence, visibility, transformation. You can already see the momentum shifting. Her jersey sales are topping charts. Her games are breaking viewership records. And now, with this golf outing, she's making headlines that aren't about stats or scores. They're about stature. Jordan's presence in her orbit pushes her from sports pages to business journals, from ESPN to Forbes. This is about legacy building in real time. Let's not forget what Jordan's mentorship has done for other athletes. His influence on players like Kobe Bryant wasn't just technical. It was philosophical. It was about mentality, about learning how to operate at the highest level while navigating fame, pressure, and expectation. It's safe to say Clark could gain everything from that kind of insight. And on the flip side, Jordan knows how powerful this could be for his own legacy, too. Investing in Clark means investing in the future of basketball, all of basketball. It's smart business, smart branding, and, honestly, a smart legacy move. Supporting Clark now sets the tone for how future generations of athletes, especially women, will be viewed, valued, and treated. It's about expanding the definition of greatness. And Jordan co-signing a female athlete at this level helps crack open doors that were previously deadbolt shut. Let's be real. What if this is the beginning of something even bigger? What if this is the first step toward a Jordan x Clark collaboration? A signature shoe? A mentorship program? A full-on investment in the next phase of women's sports branding? This isn't just wishful thinking. It's logical. The infrastructure is there. The market is hungry. And the players, literally, are ready. Clark has the audience. She has the skill. She has the it factor. And now, she has the attention of the most dominant brand in basketball history. And perhaps what makes all of this so striking is the tone of the moment. Private. Low-key. No press tour. No behind-the-scenes documentary. Just an organic meeting. Two basketball minds connecting without fanfare. That privacy gives a moment power. It strips away all the noise and leaves us with something real. Respect. Recognition. A quiet nod from one icon to another in the making. This is the kind of moment that decades from now, people will reference in documentaries and retrospectives. That golf game? That's when everything changed. It's not flashy, but it's foundational. And it sends a clear message. Clark is not just the future of women's basketball. She's becoming a force in sports culture, period. So yeah, maybe it was just golf. But the subtext? It's loaded. It's about access. It's about legacy. It's about one of the greatest athletes of all time quietly acknowledging that the game is evolving. And that Clark is driving the shift. That's why this story hit so hard. Because we all saw it. We saw the quiet confidence on Clark's face. The relaxed energy. The way she belonged. Not like she was lucky to be there, but like she earned it. And she has. From the first viral college highlights to now standing shoulder to shoulder with Jordan, Clark has proven that her impact goes far beyond buzzer beaters. She's stepping into an entirely new role. Not just athlete, but architect. Someone who gets to shape the future of the sport, not just play in it. So where does this leave us? At the edge of something big. Something cultural. Something historic. Clark's not just chasing a championship anymore. She's building an empire. And now, with Jordan's subtle but significant validation, she's got the green light to go even further. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark becoming a bigger name. It's about shifting the power dynamics in sports. It's about expanding who gets to be the face of a franchise, of a brand, of a movement. The ripple effect of this moment is still unfolding. But one thing is clear. It's not a coincidence. It's a turning point. And whether you're a lifelong WNBA fan or just catching up now, this is your sign to start paying serious attention. It's wild to think this all started with a golf game. But that's the thing about power moves. They don't always come with fireworks. Sometimes they're tucked inside quiet, private moments. No press, no crowd, no cameras rolling. Just one legend, one rising icon, and a message loud enough to shake the whole sports world. You belong here. And Caitlin Clark? She didn't just show up, she fit. Effortlessly. There's something powerful in that alone. The ease. The way she looked like this wasn't some once-in-a-lifetime brush with greatness, but a perfectly natural next chapter in her career. That level of composure? That's earned. That's not taught. That's what makes you more than a player. It's what makes you a presence. Because make no mistake, this wasn't about what Clark might become. This was a recognition of what she already is. And when it comes from someone like Jordan, it hits different. It tells you that the work you've been putting in, every practice, every game, every headline, every high-pressure moment, has reached the right eyes. And in Clark's case, the highest eyes. Let's pause for a second and talk about how rare that is. Most athletes spend their entire careers chasing this kind of acknowledgement, fighting to break through ceilings, hoping someone at the top finally notices. Clark didn't have to campaign for it. She didn't have to go viral for a moment of Jordan's attention. She earned it through consistency, through pressure-tested performance, through carrying a whole sport's expectations with poise that's way beyond her years. And Jordan saw that. What's so striking here is how this moment wasn't about glitz. There was no rollout, no stage branding, just authenticity, which is why people can't stop talking about it, because it feels real, because it is real. This wasn't a corporation throwing two stars in the same room for clout. This was Michael Jordan extending a private invitation. That kind of gesture carries a weight that no endorsement deal ever could. It's a rare kind of access. And it says more than any headline. It tells U.S. Clark isn't just being talked about anymore. She's being talked to by the very people who define success in this world. And what comes next, that's where things get really interesting. Because this isn't just a one-time photo op. This opens doors. Strategic ones. Jordan-level ones. If that connection continues, if that mentorship deepens, Clark could be stepping into the kind of career path that breaks every mold we've seen in women's sports so far. From signature shoes to brand deals to even broader cultural partnerships, everything is on the table now. And not just because of her stats, because of her story, because of her symbolism, because of what she represents to the next wave of athletes who are watching this unfold in real time. She's proving that it's possible to be more than a player, to be a movement. And what makes this moment so thrilling is that she's just getting started. She hasn't even had a full season in the league, and already, her influence is drawing in legends. Already, her presence is pushing the boundaries of what's possible. That kind of momentum, it's unstoppable. So when you see Caitlin Clark teeing off at Grove 22 with Michael Jordan, know that you're not just witnessing a casual hangout between two athletes. You're witnessing the early stages of a legacy being cemented, one that's going to reshape not only her career, but the entire landscape of women's sports. This is more than a game. It's a statement. And if you're here for it, if you feel like this is the kind of shift we've been waiting for, don't just watch it happen. Be part of the conversation. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what this moment means to you. And if you're all in on the Caitlin Clark era, make sure you're subscribed. The story's only getting better from here.